Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you all for tuning in. Have you ever felt sympathy for a character only to later realize you were completely wrong about them? What if the monster in the story had once been a victim themselves? And what if the line between justice and revenge wasn't as clear as you first thought? So today we are reviewing a haunting and powerful novella from one of Korea's greatest living writers, Jo Jung-rae. It's a story about poverty, betrayal, war, and the cyclical nature of revenge. And it's a story that still resonates today, more than 4 decades after it was first published. So, hello everyone, welcome back to Seoul Book Club, where we review Korean novels and short stories in translation. If you're new here, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and stick around for more reviews of Korean fiction, past and present. So, yes, the book I'm introducing today is The Land of the Banished by Jo Jung-rae, originally published in 1979 and translated into English by Chun Kyung-ja. And it's a short novella, but it's a genuinely emotionally devastating story. It's also a very significant story in the history of modern Korean literature, and it's been published in English, translated and published in English at least 4 times. So it was published as part of the Jimundang series. You can get it in that one, in that edition there. And this is actually quite difficult to get hold of these days. So if you do manage to get one of those, good for you. It's also published in the Asia Publishers series, the Modern Korean Literature series. This edition is fantastic because it has the original Korean text and the English translation. And who did the translation? Is that the same? Why doesn't it have the translator's name? Oh yeah. So these two, the translator is the same person. These two, the translator is Chun Kyung-ja. So that's the same translation. This one has the English and Korean. It also has an essay, like an essay from a literature critic at the back of it. So it's got like an essay, and it's got an afterword. So if you can, this is a good addition to get if you're trying to get this book. And also, just my copy is signed. So Cho Chong-rae actually came to my book club, and he signed the book for me. And you can see the recording of his visit to the book club on the channel. So please watch that as well. But then the story has also been published. So it was published in this collection of stories called Land of Exile. So this has a different translation of the story, and the translation is called not Land of the Banished, but Land of Exile. And the translator for this, for that translation, it's actually a different person. And it doesn't tell me where. It doesn't. Okay, yeah. So I think this was Marshall R. Phil and Bruce and Juchan Fulton. At least they edited this collection, but it doesn't say specifically if this is their translation. But anyway, it was published in that one, and then it was published again in the Penguin book of Korean short stories, and again that's the Bruce Fulton translation that's in that one. Just let me check very quickly if it. I just want to confirm. Oh no, right. So it's translated. It's the Marshall R. Phil translation. So 2 translations are available: the Marshall R. Phil one, which has been published in these two collections, and then the translation which is called Land of the Banished. So anyway, very significant story, published several times. So what's so significant about this story? So let's start with talking about who is Jo Jung-rae. So Cho is a towering figure in Korean literature. His novels have sold over 10 million copies. He's the author of the epic trilogy Arirang, Taebaek Mountain Range, and Han Gang. And these are series which he spent over 20 years writing. And these are enormous multi-volume series which haven't actually been translated into English, unfortunately. Maybe one day they will. But the purpose of those books, or his aim in writing them, was to give a comprehensive sort of fictional portrait of the Korean people across the 20th century. And those books feature over 1,200 significant characters. Land of the Banished, however, is a much more intimate story, probably his most famous short story. And Korean critics say that it captures, the trauma of the Korean War in a quieter, more personal voice than his larger epics. Quieter might not be the right word, actually. It's a smaller scale story. The story begins with an old man named Mahn-seok, and a very Dickensian scene, so something like straight out of Oliver Twist. So Mahn-seok is at an orphanage and he's handing over his young son because he's too poor and sick to care for him anymore. So he leaves a small boy with a very meager sum of money and just a few possessions, while the child cries out for him in anguish as he walks away. And it's a heartbreaking moment. You'll probably, like many readers, feel immediate sympathy for Mahn-seok. But what follows is a clever and chilling use of a kind of reverse chronology. So if you've seen films like Peppermint Candy, the Korean film, or Irreversible, the French film, there's a similar thing happening in Land of the Banished. So as the story unfolds across a series of flashbacks, you begin to realize something quite unsettling. So Mahn-seok might not be the victim that he first appears in that opening scene at all. In fact, he might be something of a monster. So Mahn-seok grows up in a rural village before the Korean War. His family is desperately poor. They're tenant farmers, and they live under the control of a very cruel landlord family called the Chongs. Mahn-seok's childhood is filled with hunger and humiliation. He's sort of relentlessly bullied by the well-fed, arrogant Chong children. One day, he snaps and he retaliates. And he sort of strikes back at these sort of these children that are kind of sort of bullying him and being nasty to him. The consequences of this action are brutal. So the Chong family beat his father, Mahn-seok's father, nearly to death. They evict his family, and this plunges them even further and even deeper into poverty. And this moment of arbitrary injustice changes Mahn-seok forever, plants a deep resentment in him, this feeling that he needs to constantly fight back and to reject the life of being a slave. He begins to ask himself, why are some people born rich and others penniless? Must a born peasant be satisfied with the life of a slave? And then as he gets older, the Korean War breaks out. Mahn-seok thinks, oh, now he's getting his chance. So he joins the People's Army. He rises up the ranks and becomes a local chairman. And he uses this position to exact a brutal revenge on those people who've wronged him as he was a young man. And he hunts down the Chong family and others like them, this sort of landlord class who were in power before the war, and he butchers them in an extremely brutal, vicious, and unforgiving manner. But the story doesn't end there. After the war, the tables turn once again. The Chong family and their kind, some of them regain their power, and Mahn-seok is forced to flee. So he becomes a kind of traveling vagabond. He's scraping by as a day laborer on, building sites and so on. And he's a haunted, broken man full of regret and anger. And so Cho Chong-nae's message here, very complex and quite disturbing. He doesn't excuse Mahn-seok's actions at all. Instead, he's forcing the reader to ask, what created this man? Is his rage understandable, if not forgivable? What happens when cycles of injustice and revenge spiral out of control? I first reviewed this story back in 2021 on a radio show, on a KBS radio show. And at the time, it just seemed like there was such modern relevance to the story, right? So it was just around the time of the US presidential inauguration in 2021. And of course, I'm sure many of you will remember that this was after a period of intense political division. And just like in the novella, there were calls to blacklist and punish and silence the opposition. And Cho's story reminds us that this road can lead to nothing but misery. So, Land of the Banished is a short, brutal, and quite unforgettable novella, forces readers to confront their own sense of morality. If you're interested in the emotional aftermath of war, or how ordinary people can become both victims and perpetrators, then this is a fascinating story to read. So let me know in the comments, have you read any of Cho Chong-nae's work? Is there an example of a book in which you changed your mind about a character halfway through? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more Korean literature reviews. Thanks for watching. I've actually got like 2 or 3 kind of significantly longer videos that I'm working on, and I've been meaning to try and get them uploaded, but I've got a big project to work on for someone else, which I should finish by this Thursday. So hopefully by this weekend, I'll be able to get some longer videos up. But I'll try and post a short video each day, even whilst I'm working on this other project. Anyway, thank you for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.